Okay, so I made this topography. So usually the way I would do it is I have an entire project that's just called, site topography, and that's it. Don't have anything else in there. And then I have another parallel project, which is the typology of the house. Because if you're making row houses, you usually only have maybe between 2 to 5 different types of house, and then you just use it again and again. So I have one project called site. So I'm just going to save that. Save as project. I'm going to put it on the desktop. I'm going to call it site assembly, just so I remember what it is. And then I'm going to make a new project, and this one's going to be, a house. So I'm just going to quickly go into level 1 and delete all this nonsense. And I'm going to make some walls, just so you have something to start with. Let's make it 5.4. Let's say, let's not worry about it too much, just so I remember what it is. 4.9. Okay. Select that, and we make it from level 1 up to roof, and then I'm going to come into roof by footprint. We're on roof level, yes, and I'm going to choose the walls we've made, accept. So then we've got a house. So there's our house, beautiful house. So what we can do then, I'm going to save that project, put it back on the desktop again. I'm going to call this one house type 1. And close it down again. So they're in separated project files. So now we can put in, if we go into the elevation view here, after the design work, if you have the topographies worked out, you maybe have an idea as to where you want to insert your different house types. So in this one here, we're not using levels for the same, we're not putting floors per level, we're actually putting house per level. So let's just call this house type 1 ground level. Oh, what's it making me do here? House type 1 ground. Oh, I'm changing the wrong thing. Type 1 ground. Yes. And let's say this is down here. And then we can just copy that up if we have 3 house types in here, for example. And copy it one more time. And we'll just call this 2. Let's call this one 3. So all the levels are doing in this situation is giving us a position for the base level of the house type. So let's just move them all down here so they're interacting with the landscape in some kind of a way. Okay. So now we go into Insert, Link Revit, and we go and find the house we just made, which is God, I can't even remember what I called it. What did I call it? Did I call it anything? I'm losing my mind here. House type 1 Revit, yeah. Where did I save that? Stop? House type 1, yeah, okay. Think Revit. House type 1, there it is. And we've certain options as to where we put it, but because the site plan that we're dealing with here is we're going to be able to move it around in here. We're not so concerned about this because we're actually making the project that we're making outside is just like a prototype house, so it could be anywhere. So we're not concerned about that. So I'm just going to say center to center at the moment. Let's open, and the house pops in. So then we should have the option to, depending on what level we're on, if we go into elevation view again, it's come in at this position here, And we should be able to just align it, if possible. Or can we align it? We need to change this to wireframe. Align. Oops, that's not what I wanted to align. And then lock it to the level we want. So this one is aligned to ground level, house type 1, and then we can just copy it. So now we have it in here. We can just say copy. I'm going to copy it over here, and copy it over here. And the beauty of this is that if somebody is working on the house outside, all the changes on those house gets repeated 3 times within the project here. So let's just align this again. So we're going to save this one, and we're going to.
Once you copied, where are they located? Are they in
They're not located anywhere except in this topography file, and all they are copies of the linked file. So that means is that they're all going to be if you modify one of them outside, they'll all be modified, and that's the kind of the beauty of it. So let's do this one again. Align this one with tab this one and lock it. So now in the 3D view, we've got something going on like that. So it's stepped. But even better from our point of view, it's not divided up into all kinds of stuff, with TVs and couches and all that kind of stuff, or different types of walls and so on. It's all solidified outside that somebody else can work on as a typology. So now we just need to make sure it fits on the site. So this is where the building pad comes in. So you just go into the Massingen site. Let's go back into the site view.
What happens when you edit the roof and then the front?
You can only ever the way I've got it set up here is that they're all the same house. So if you edit the roof outside, they'll all change.
What if you edit it in here?
You can't, because if I click on it now, it's completely solid. You can't do anything to it. You have to actually go outside. If you press bind link, it'll just pop in as an editable group. But other than that, you can't edit it within the topography project itself. So now I want to go in and go onto site level, and we can make a building pad for each individual house. Now the first one is going to be on house type 1 ground. I can't remember which one that was, but I think it's this one over here. Yeah, let's just move it so it works properly. Accept it. And let's make another one at a different level. So we called it level 2. Let's just draw that there. Now it's possible you can't draw them directly on top of each other, but let's just see if that works or not. That works at the moment. And then I'm going to make another one, building pad, and this time it's going to be on level 3. Like that. And the building pad doesn't have to be, end at the edge of the house. It can be the front garden as well, because you need to landscape in there. So you need to excavate it as well. So basically, a building pad is just how much excavation do you want to do. So when you're finished, you have something like that, where the building pad, I've actually done it backwards. This one should be on level. This one should be on level, building pad. Yeah, this one should be on 3. You can always come back and modify it afterwards. This one should be on 2. That one's fine. This one should be on, level 1. So it builds the site up around it, or excavates the site out underneath it. So if I just turn on the shaded view here, you can see how that does it. So then let's say if I shut that down, you can't open up the linked project and the topography project at the same time. You need to shut it down unless you're on different machines, which often you are because you're all working on the project together. If I go back in here and open up the house type and continue to work on it, so let's put a window in the front and a door like this, just as an example. I'm going to save that. If I shut it down again, go back into the site assembly, it reloads those changes automatically. So that's kind of the simplest way of doing this kind of stuff. Of course, you have some issues in here. Like, for example, if you're building a party wall, you have a point here where it's suddenly exposed to the open air because it's not insulated. So then you have to make, a special design for those little corners, depending on how the difference is between how you step it. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I'll leave that up as a video anyway, if I can switch it off.
Shane,
Yeah.
if you change the structure of the walls to like thinner, will there be space in between, or will they remain glued together?
There'll be space in between, depending on which side you do it from. If you have the, what they call the control line, what do they call it in Revit? Yeah, the core, exactly. If you have it on the inside face of the wall, then they will separate. If you have it on the outside face of the wall, the house will just get bigger internally. It depends on where you put the core line. Yeah, anyway. I can't seem to switch off this video. So. Stop.